Microbio. We're going to start a new chapter today, and that is titled Chapter 26, or Chapter 6, sorry, not 26, and it's going to be Humans in the Biosphere. So up to this point in our ecology unit, we've talked about basically how things are supposed to occur normally in nature without the influence of humans. So however, we're to the point in our society today that where humans are playing such an effect on how the world is actually working that we need to take an entire look at how humans will affect our biosphere. And so the first section is called the changing landscape. And so the first thing we need to take a look at is the concept of Earth as an island. And we need to do this because all organisms on Earth, they share a limited resource base, and they depend on it for their long-term survival. So if you picture a desert island, it could be the coconut tree is the source of survival. We have to look at all organisms like that with us because there are limited resources for us all on the planet Earth today. And to protect these resources, we need to understand how are humans interacting with the biosphere. So how are we positively and negatively affecting the world that we're living in today? And so then we're going to have to take a look at the specific activities that will play a role. And so with human activities, so from the ecosystems in which they live, humans obtain such necessities as clean water and recycled nutrients. So within our ecosystems that we live in, we take out our clean water and nutrients, and ecologists refer to such necessities as ecosystem goods and services because they have value to individuals and societies. So we call them goods and services because that's basically like what Walmart provides you. They provide goods and services to you. So ecologists refer to the things that we take out of our nature as goods and services because it's kind of, again, we need them to survive. However, I'm going to have to take a look at are we doing enough to kind of replenish all this. And so some specific human activities that will affect our biosphere include things like hunting and gathering, agriculture, industry, and urban development. So we're going to take a more in-depth look at all four of these specific activities that will affect our human biosphere. And so for most of history, humans have obtained food by hunting and gathering, and so this is not an uncommon practice. This has been going on through basically all of human existence. And so today, there are still groups of people in scattered parts of the world that still follow the hunter-gatherer way of life. And so just because you go out deer hunting during deer season, that does not make you a hunter-gatherer. A hunter-gatherer is basically groups of people that they travel non-stop. They never really set up permanent residence anywhere. They are always moving, and they're always basically following the food wherever it goes. So that's what a hunter-gatherer is. So this can affect the biosphere because they're obviously taking out animals for food, they're taking out plants, things like that. But this hasn't been a major impact because this has been going on for most of human existence. So another big practice that has affected humans in the biosphere has been agriculture, which is just simply the practice of farming. So we should all know that it plays a big role around here, and it can include the production of crops as well as the raising of livestock. And this provides human societies with a dependable supply of food that can be produced in large quantity and stored for later use. So we, as again living here in Illinois, we have a big responsibility in our hands with the amount of crops that we grow because we are supporting big portions of the world. We're providing food for, it might not be directly for humans, but for your corn you're growing is food for cows, then that'll become your food later on. So we have a big role here that we serve in the terms of agriculture. However, agriculture has changed drastically, so we're going to start with traditional agriculture and work to modern. So in the 1800s and 1900s, there was multiple advances in science and technology that set the stage for a remarkable change in agriculture. So it's obviously going to be a lot more improvements, and hopefully we can probably pick some of these out that you might already know some of the improvements that were made if your parents are farmers. So that there has been large-scale irrigation, which turned deserts into fertile farmlands, and irrigation is obviously, that's always a problem around here in Havana because of our sandy soil. And there's new machinery that helps farmers increase yields with the large combines and things like that. There's new varieties of crops that are resistant to different pests and Roundup Ready, things like that. Then there's chemical fertilizers, which will help boost our plant growth, things like our anhydrous and stuff like that. And then there's pesticides that will control crop-damaging insects. So all of these different things have allowed to huge increases into the amount of food that we can actually produce. And another kind of big change is that new crops are now often grown using a practice called monoculture, and this is which large fields are planted with a single variety of crop year after year. It used to be you would have to plant corn, then wheat, then beans, then let your field rest, and then you can come back again and start it over the process with corn, because again it would just wear out the nutrients in the field. Now with all these increased fertilizers and things like that we have, we're able to just keep planting corn year after year in the same fields and able to keep making large quantities of it, which that used to not be a possibility at all. And with all these kind of increased improvements and increase in technology, something that is known as the Green Revolution has come along. And what this can be described as an effort that occurred in the middle of the 20th century in order for us to increase our global food production through modern plant breeding and agricultural techniques. And this has been successful because over the past 50 years, this Green Revolution has helped world food production double. So over the last 50 years now, we have doubled the amount of food that we are producing. Again, just helps out multiple parts of the world all over the place. And so, however, it sounds like this could be good. However, this is going to present some challenges for the future, because while we increase our food supplies, modern agriculture has also created ecological challenges. So with this increase in the amount of food that we're making, increase of people, there's going to be some problems. And some of the problems that can occur is monoculture can lead to problems with insect pests and diseases. So what this means is that growing the same crop year after year, and with all these increased fertilizers and increased pesticides, eventually things are going to develop resistance to our pesticides, and so they're going to be a lot more tough to kill, and it can actually lead to an increase in pests and diseases than what we've had before. And then finding enough water for irrigation is difficult. That's not really a problem here, but in other parts of the world, irrigating the fields can be a problem. And so that's agriculture there. So we've kind of talked about agriculture now. So now we're going to look at for our industrial growth and urban development. So human society and its impact on the biosphere were transformed by the Industrial Revolution, which added machines and factories to civilization. So before just horse and buggy, things like that, the Industrial Revolution came along, and then now we're going to have a huge impact on the biosphere, because the energy that we use to power these machines came from our fossil fuels, things like coal, oil, and natural gas. We talked about the effect of burning those fossil fuels, leading to the increase in greenhouse gases. And industrial growth and urban development affect both the local and global environment, because there's things like the industrial waste will pollute our air, our water, and our soil. And human communities can also produce a lot of waste, and so therefore suburban growth consumes farmland and stresses native plants and animals. So basically humans moving in is kind of taking up space that could be used for farmland or our natural ecosystems, so we kind of might be destroying some of our natural biosphere here. So that's it for section 1. Let me know if you have any questions.